really.
Okay, well, first of all, I guess we should start with just a basic introduction. Can you tell us your name to the camera and where you're from?
Hi, my name is Nikki Gukin. I'm from Austin, Texas.
And my name is Alan Gukin. I'm her husband, and I'm also from Austin, originally from San Antonio.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your life situation, how the budget that's had impact?
In every way, shape, and form you can imagine. Both of us were placed on what's called the RIF list for Austin ISD, which is a reduction in force. That meant both of us are losing our position full time. Mine has been reduced to a 0.5 position, pay also reduced to 0.5, and my wife's position has been eliminated entirely. So it's definitely caused some issues within the family, for sure.
What does what are the prospects moving forward for Austin ISD? You say you're in the RIF position right now, but what does that mean going forward over the next year or two?
For right now, there's not a whole lot of certainty. It's mostly a lot of word of mouth, a lot of hearsay about what's possibly coming, what's possibly not coming. Unfortunately, they just don't know right now. They're waiting on decisions here in the legislature to give them the ability to make decisions on their part. So they're not really sure what to tell us, and it kind of leaves us in a state of limbo.
Tell us about how has that affected your family's planning decisions to do what you wanted to do? You know, I guess you didn't anticipate that this was going to happen, say, 2 years ago.
Right. Well, we had already started planning a family. We have a 2-year-old at home, and I'm expecting our next child in June. And when we decided to go forth and have the second one, we were fairly certain that our job was secure. And then the RIF came down a few months ago, and so there's been a lot of worry in the house with both of us losing our job and 2 kids now, and
A lot of speculation on what's going to happen. You know, whether we're going to be able to keep our home, whether we're going to have to move elsewhere, looking for jobs outside of Austin, things like that, trying to find work so we can support family.
However, most of the school districts all around have all closed it off to outside.
They're only hiring internally. Yeah. That's about it.
So if we lose our job in Austin, the opportunity of getting a job elsewhere is very slim.
How about your students? What'll happen to them?
That's a really good question. We both made the decision to teach in low socioeconomic background campuses, low performing campuses. We made the conscious decision to work in an environment like that because we want to help those kids out and give them a chance to do things that everybody else has the opportunity to do. Unfortunately, when you make cuts like that to schools, those kids are going to lose out on people that really want to be there. Historically, a lot of those campuses are the ones that hire kids fresh out of college, kids without a whole lot of experience, or educators that aren't necessarily the best fit, and that never works out. With environments like the ones we teach in, our kids need somebody who really cares about them, really is invested in them as individuals, as people, so that they're not just there to produce, in my case, a strong band, and for her, not just a strong actor, but to produce strong individuals who can go back and give back to society just like we are.
We both teach fine arts classes, and so we are given the unique opportunity to educate the whole child, not just a portion of the child, teaching math and science. For instance, as a theater teacher, I teach math when I'm breaking down characters and scripts and where the climax of the story is. I teach science when we talk about our pulley system or the flammable objects in the theater. I teach social studies when we talk about theater history or the a period piece, I'm able to teach the whole child and not just part of the child. And yet it's the arts that are going to be cut first. And that is where the kids grow the most. With our kids being in a Title I school, the arts is what keeps the kids in the school. That is why they come to school. It's the art that get them there. It's no pass, no play that gets them to pass all their other classes so they can participate in our activities. That is why they're at school. Without us, our kids are lost.
And my wife had she had a particular student, and I gotta tote her line here, but she had this kiddo last year. She was teaching at Reagan High School, and I don't know if I can say his name,
Yeah.
but it's not. But this was a kiddo that was pretty much written off. He had some learning difficulties and disabilities, to say the least, and a lot of the teachers have just
he had a severe brain trauma because he went through a windshield when he was 10 years old. And
but she for whatever reason was able to get through to him, was able to connect with him.
After the first semester,
that kiddo would run through a brick wall for her. He's amazing. And
during the first semester, I got him to. No one had ever even heard him speak. He spoke very, very little throughout for any of his classes, and he just kind of roamed the halls. And the first semester, I got him to recite Hamlet's "To Be or Not to Be" speech, and then he started getting to do. He wanted to be a rapper, so he got to do some of his own pieces and put it in monologue form. And then he got, with more confidence, he started doing more scenes with other people. And then by the end of the year, when we did Medea Fam Reunion, he was Medea.
Superstar.
He was
Hilarious.
Medea. And everyone kept coming up to me going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that was him," because how did you get him to speak? And here it was, an agent
brought the house down, man. He was awesome.
An agent came to one of the shows and signed him right away. And he was able to get on some commercials and that kind of thing. And it wasn't just that. I mean, the fact that he got this wonderful career on top of that was wonderful, but for the first time, he passed all of his classes. He was a junior. He had never passed, had one semester where he passed every class. And he passed every class so he could participate in that show. And
So
those are my kids.
what do we do? What happens to those kids? Those kids are still going to be in school. They're going to be fewer teachers. The prospects look bleak for 2 years. Can you tell legislators what you believe these cuts are going to do to these kids in the short and the long run?
I'll say this right now, and I'll say this right to the camera. Whoever's watching this thing, they're going to get left behind. They're going to get swept under the rug, and they're going to fall through the cracks. Period. That's what's going to happen. These kids they have a hard enough time, especially with ours. I mean, there are kids from more affluent areas who have a lot larger support nets with them. They've got perhaps more money within their family and tighter circles with that. A lot of our kids are going to be impacted by this legislation harder than most, because the kids that we teach rely on us so much. We're not just the band director. We're not just the theater arts teacher. We're mom. We're dad. We're another extension of their family. We're the person that they pick up the phone and call when their aunt that they're living with is having heart trouble.